Welcome back. This is Coach Bill's Sports Show. We've been diving into some college football. Time to take a break, take a look at this season's fantasy football. I love fantasy football. I've been playing for a while, so I love breaking down some of these things. I do it for myself. Figured let's add it to the channel. Let's see what happens. So today, taking a look at some fantasy football wide receivers. So let's huddle up and let's get to it. First up on my list of fantasy wide receivers that I'm targeting this season, Mike Evans. Currently wide receiver 9 with Tom Brady as a quarterback who love him, hate him. He's a solid quarterback. He's going to put the ball in the right location. With injuries at wide receiver, I know they just signed Julio Jones. But injuries at wide receiver, we don't know when Godwin's going to be 100% healthy. I know Gage came from Atlanta this year to Tampa Bay. The loss of Gronk, I think, leads to a lot more targets for Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans becomes that big-bodied security blanket for Tom Brady. So it may not be a lot of yardage, but if you're in PPR, he can see about 10 targets a game. That's hard to pass up. Very hard to pass up. Definitely worth an earlier pick than he's been in the past few years. Another one on my list, Keenan Allen. I may be a little aggressive, but Keenan Allen's my wide receiver 1 for this season. He's got a young quarterback who's progressing. He's learning. He's doing all these things. And Keenan Allen's progressing as well. He's no longer just the deep threat. He's running routes crisply. He's catching the ball in ways that just astound me to see a human being do it. The offense is becoming a little bit more aggressive, pushing the ball a little bit more down the field. So, Keenan Allen, I have him as my wide receiver 1. That's how high I am on him. Next on my list is Michael Pittman, currently getting drafted as wide receiver 13. We've seen what Matt Ryan does when he finds a security blanket. We've seen it. I'm not going to say Michael Pittman is young Julio Jones, but in that offense, teams are going to have to single cover Pittman. You can't double cover him. You just can't. If you do that, they're going to run the ball on you all day, every day. So, single coverage, one-on-one, Pittman. It's going to see a lot of looks from Matt Ryan. We'll see what he does at camp, but he's going to see a lot of looks from Matt Ryan. I have that feeling. He's that new security blanket. And like I said, the defensive has to focus on the run in Indianapolis first. So Michael Pittman's going to be a scary one. Got one, speaking of scary, that most people are overlooking right now. Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry. Currently drafted as wide receiver 16. I think everybody's looking at this Wentz trade and going, oh no, oh no. But let's not forget, Terry McLaurin hasn't had the best quarterbacks, and he's still produced year in and year out. Am I saying he's going to be wide receiver 1? No. But top 10, top 15, it's a good chance. Wentz doesn't do a lot of things well, but what he does do well are deep passes. Guess who's really good at catching deep passes? Terry McLaurin. It's insane to me that people are overlooking that fact. Scary Terry is a stud when it comes to deep receptions. I see a lot of 40-plus completions for him this year, and for the leagues that have that kind of bonus, he can definitely build you up some bonus points really quick. Next on my list, somebody that a lot of people are talking about. I have a different view on it, but Courtland Sutton. Right now he's going as wide receiver 25. Means he's going around the 5th round. Russell Wilson, I believe since 2015, he has had a top 16 wide receiver every year. Now, that person changes. Depends on all that. But I think Courtland Sutton can give you DK Metcalf vibes for a lot less of a cost. And if you're telling me I can pick up another running back in a draft, pick up Courtland Sutton a round later and still get the same production as DK Metcalf, that's a league winner. That's a game changer. It'll be really interesting to see who Russell vibes with when he gets into the preseason, and we can start seeing a little bit more than just clips from training camp and him getting hyped up overseas. It'll be real important to see who he's really connecting with at camp. Jerry Jeudy is no slouch. I just have a gut feeling that Courtland Sutton is his guy this season. Next up, we have JUJU Smith-Schuster. I know you've been burned by JUJU. I've been burned by JUJU. He's currently going as wide receiver 35. And here's my point. Wide receiver 35. So there's 34 wide receivers ahead of him. He's playing with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick is going to have to spread the ball around more this season. This isn't going to be what you saw last year where it's Cheetah or it's Cheetah or it's Travis Kelce. It's going to be a lot more spread out. With that said, JUJU isn't going to be an outside person. He's going to be a slot guy. And when JUJU runs the slot, he does damage. He's quick. He's very quick. Plus, let's face it, Big Ben over the past few years hasn't really been the Big Ben of earlier in his career. His arm got a little weaker. He wasn't able to put those passes into the spots that Mahomes is able to now. With the departure of Tyreek Hill, there's a lot of targets that are going to be available, and they're going to get spread around. Kelsey's going to get some. Everybody's going to get some. I think he may get a slower start, but I think JUJU found a wonderful spot. He's speedy and just shifty. He's going to see single coverage. And he's got a top 10 quarterback. For the 35th wide receiver, I don't need him to be my wide receiver 1. But as a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, flex play, JUJU's scary. Really scary. Next up, that's a guy that I think a lot of people lost track of. He had a wonderful end of the season last year, won a lot of people some championships. The team went out, the team being Detroit, went out and got a lot of talent in the offseason. But people are overlooking the chemistry he's already built. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sorry if I butchered that name. But St. Brown, definitely, especially down the stretch, showed flashes last season. Him and Goff, with another year of chemistry, an offseason of working together, his second year into the league, there's something there. Again, do I think he's my wide receiver 1? No. But if I can get him as my wide receiver 2, my league mates better be afraid, because he is going to put up points. PPR, I even think in a standard league he's going to be a solid wide receiver 2. If I can get a wide receiver 2 with the number 26 wide receiver off the board, I think I'm good. Last on my list is a guy who has suffered through the most horrific quarterback play I think I've ever seen. Allen Robinson. Currently going as wide receiver 30. But he has put up solid numbers everywhere he's been, even though the quarterbacks have not been the best. He's never really played with a top 15 quarterback. Guess what he gets this year? Stafford, a top 15 quarterback. He's had to be the number 1 target. Guess what he's not this year? The number 1 target. He's going to see single coverage. Joining the Rams, being a second option for Stafford, who we've seen can produce multiple options for fantasy football. I think he can really be better than he's been in the past few years. Since his probably second season with the Jaguars, I think he's going to have a resurgence in LA. I know they still have some pieces left over. I know Odell still has a chance of signing back. Losing Robert Woods and being able to bring in Allen Robinson is big for the LA Rams. He's a solid number 2 for that team. And again, he's never really played with a true top 15 quarterback. Stafford, I have him at 9 or 10 this season. It's a big difference when you have a quarterback that can put the ball on you the way that Stafford can. Right now, he's going late 6th round, early 7th round, and being very conservative. I could see him getting 70 targets, 1,000 yards, and 7 touchdowns. You telling me I got that in the 7th round? 7th round, I'm looking for a flex play. I've got 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns, and the possibility of 70 targets out of that guy. Please and thank you. Where do I sign up? So those are my wide receivers that I'm targeting this season. Just the ones that I keep finding myself drafting in all my mock drafts. We'll get into some of those here in the coming days and the coming weeks, building up to the season. I will be doing a couple of my personal fantasy football drafts. We'll hop in and we'll do a couple of those live. So if you'd like to see that, if you'd like to see more of this, please let me know. Comment down below. If I'm wrong about one of these wide receivers, please let me know. Comment down below. Tell me who I'm missing out on. Because the more I know, the more we know, better off we all are. Thank you. If you like the show, please like and subscribe. Once again, I'm Coach Bill. Ready? Break.